In the first short argument paper folder, you will find the instructions for the first short argument paper, and then this sample student paper. Notice that this is about Greasy Lake. You cannot write about Greasy Lake or the red convertible. I just wanted to show you a sample where the student wrote a good paper, followed the structure, MLA format, included all the required elements. So, of course, you would click on this to open it, or to download it, and so you could open it. I already have that done. So here is our sample paper. Notice that it is in Times New Roman 12-point font. That's what you want yours to be in. The whole paper is in that style and size font. It is all double spaced. There's no extra spacing between the date and the title in the first paragraph or between the paragraphs. And so in order to do that, to make sure that it's like that and it's not doesn't have excessive spaces, you would go up here, which is paragraph, drop down menu, and see where it says double right here. But a lot of students say, oh, that's what I'm doing it in, is double spacing. The problem is that the before and after spacing is not at 0. So you want it to be 0 here, and this box should be checked. I'm not sure why it's not. It was already set that way. And then click OK. And then everything would be in the correct double spacing. For your heading, your MLA heading needs to be the same for all of your papers for this class. So you put your name, you put my name, you type out the word professor. You don't shorten it to PROF. You don't use my first name. Just put Professor Shannon, because again it's MLA format. That's what you're following. The next thing should be the course name. Again, English. Write it all the way out. Don't abbreviate. Our course number 1302, and then our section number 31358. Even though this is an older paper, I'd put our current section number so that you could refer to that. And then you put the date. In MLA format, you put the day first, the month, and then the year. And you don't abbreviate January. You're not going to put the month / day / year. You have to write it out like this. Then you want to center your original title that tries to grab the interest of the reader, indicate the topic of your paper. You want to indent by tabbing once, and then looking at the elements in the introduction. It tells the title of the story, being sure that it is in quotation marks, not italicized. And then you've got the name of the author. They could have just put T.C. Boyle, but they wrote out the author's middle name, Corageson. But again, you want the first and last names. Then you have the summary, right? The summary of the plot. So you get 1, 2, 3, and then 4 sentences of the plot summary. And that's a good length for a plot summary as a rule of thumb. Not always, but usually. Then the paper ends the introduction with the thesis statement. The use of irony in Greasy Lake established the narrator's true character as the story goes on. So they have chosen a language technique, irony, and that is clear, and it says how the author uses irony in the story. In the first body paragraph, the topic sentence, it refers back to the thesis statement. So ironic shift, so I know they're still talking about irony. I'm clear what this paragraph is going to be about. This paragraph supports this topic sentence. It's all about the ironic shift in the narrator's changing view of nature. And I want you to notice that they introduce their quote here by putting it, it put the quote in context by giving this explanatory sentence and then the quote. And so at the end of the quote, just like at the beginning of the quote, we have our quotation marks to enclose it. We don't have any punctuation after the last word. Instead, we have our page number in parentheses and then the period after the closed parentheses. What you want to note here is because a complete sentence introduces the quote, we have a colon, not a comma, not a period. The colon shows that A, it's a complete sentence that introduces the quote, but also that there is a connection between the introductory sentence and the quote itself. Then in the second body paragraph, again, this author directs us back to our thesis statement, reminds us what it is that they're writing about by using the word ironically in the first sentence. And then the rest of the paragraph supports the point that is being made in the topic sentence. The conclusion, the same is true here. They give us the word irony in their topic sentence of their conclusion to help remind us what it is that they were arguing about in this essay, and then explaining that, why that was important, or how it works so that we can understand it. It goes a little bit over the 2 full pages, but that's okay. You don't want to have 2.5 pages, almost 3 pages, but if it's just a little bit long, that just shows me that you're elaborating and fleshing out your ideas, and I would never count off for it being just a little bit over, whereas I would definitely count off for it being too short. The last thing I want to mention is you notice that there is the last name and page number 3 here, so we know how many pages it is, and then of course the first one. So the way that you do that, if you're not used to doing inserting the page number and then typing the name, is you go up to Insert, then you go over here that says Header, Footer, Page Number. Don't choose Header, you choose Page Number. Put the little drop down arrow, and then you choose Top of Page, and then you go down and choose Plain Number 3. When you choose Plain Number 3, there'll be the correct number would pop up on each page. And you just need then to type your last name and a space. And then, of course, your last name will pop up on each page as well. But then it defaults to Calibri 11. And so it's not exactly correct. I would not count off for it not being in the correct, just this part not being in the correct font and size. But you can always go and make it right. And then you can go up here and close header and footer. And it's going to then be right on every page. The only other thing I want to mention is that notice that you do not want to insert your heading as a header, because if you do that, it will show up on each page of your essay, and that would be incorrect. So please don't do that.